Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Player's Take, episode 87. I'm your host, Justin DeSimone. I just knocked my water bottle over. Joined by my two co-hosts, a League of Legends degenerate, Montrell Rice, and... Yep. and a woman who wants to watch the NBA Finals right now, but is dedicated to this show. Also the Queen Supreme, Tiara Atari. How are you guys doing today?
Good. Well, Pharaoh, actually, disclaimer.
Tired.
No, I'm about to say I am super tired. Like, you don't understand. You don't understand how much work goes into being a teacher. Like, that's what nobody understands.
Hey,
like,
I'm not. Whatever you
I'm
say,
married to
I believe
one.
you, so.
I'm married to one. I'm married to one, so I have a window into it.
They put these things on your schedule called planning periods. But is it really a planning period? Do you really get time to actually plan? No.
No, because
you know what I had to do during my planning period? Contact parents, respond to emails, like get my class ready for the next, it's
sounds
just
about right.
It's just a lot. It's so much. It's so draining. But also, that's what I was going to say. I was going to actually say that I actually was watching the finals. Just on mute. I can't watch the whole thing.
You should just be DVRing it right now and get to it when we're done.
I don't have a DVR.
Oh, that's a shame.
You got
it's
YouTube
2020.
Live?
What are you doing?
You can get it for free for a month.
What?
You can get YouTube Live for free for a month, or like on a discount or some shit.
YouTube
Shane,
TV.
Shane has YouTube TV.
Yeah,
and
you can watch it.
He keeps claiming I can use it, but somehow I don't have the code yet. Like, I don't have the login information yet.
If you just log in, if you log into his account, you got it. So.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, he keeps saying this, and I'm like, all right. And then every time I turn around, I don't have it, and I'm not watching YouTube Live TV. I don't like that.
Well,
hey, that's the only way to watch the finals live.
Is that true?
No, it's not true, because I'm literally watching it right now.
Local channels. You don't even need a cable box, right? You can watch it.
It's literally on ABC.
Yeah. I don't have
like,
antenna.
All big games are on like prime time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
on the broadcast, the free broadcast channels. So.
Right, duh. Montrell.
Who does that in this day and age? Come on, we're all young. We're all youngins here. We don't use those old fangled antenna.
I know, but it's like I don't have cable, so it's just like I'm happy that it's on, prime time TV.
Mm-hmm. Well, all right, let's get through this show so Tiara can watch some basketball.
Yeah.
All right, Montrell, let's do it. I don't care about you watching it, but we got to get her back there. So let's get into it. For those of you who haven't listened before, this is our weekly show where we talk about video games, video game news, and other topics pertaining to video games. We post at 6 a.m. Central Time on Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and your favorite podcast app of choice. We're also on YouTube, 6 a.m. Central Time on Mondays, if that is how you prefer getting your audio content. Also, we've been saying this every week for the last 3 weeks. We're looking for nicknames for the hosts here. I call Tiara the Queen Supreme. She doesn't like it. Montrell, I'm sure, does not like being called League of Legends degenerate.
It's not that I don't like it. It's about rotating the nicknames. It's about
you know what,
putting some effort into it.
I'm not doing it. So, listeners, we're looking for something that'll stick, something really good that'll stick. So send that in as feedback to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. That is our email address, or you can send it to @theplayerstake on Twitter. And there we go. Let's jump in, like we always do, to what we've been playing. Who wants to go first with what they've been playing this week?
I can go first. I haven't played anything this week.
Kick him off the show.
It's only just because it's been an extremely busy week for me.
Understood.
But yeah, that's it for me.
Okay, Tiara, what about you? You still playing Among Us?
Yes, of course. Among Us. I actually haven't played in the last couple of days though, but yeah, Among Us.
The obsession is fading?
No, it's not. I've been busy.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
And I've been playing Warzone. I'm getting back into the groove of Warzone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got a question about Warzone. You said you kind of scheduled some time for you to play it the last couple of days. I mean, do you actually like Warzone, or is this kind of a thing you're like trying to force yourself into? I mean, it sounds that way to me, but
I will let Montrell answer the question. Montrell, what do you think? Do I really like Warzone, or is
No,
it something that
she really likes Warzone.
exactly?
That's her shit.
I like. I'm like, I love Warzone.
Okay.
I'm always asking everyone to like
Play it.
play.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I just wish you guys played Apex. Like,
No, I actually wanted to play with y'all the other day, but something happened, so I couldn't get back. I couldn't get online.
all right,
But yeah, I'm gonna play. I think I'm gonna play it this weekend.
Okay, yeah, I need to get back on it. I actually haven't played in the last like week and a half, so I've also been really busy. But I've been playing games. Tiara, have you been playing anything else you want to talk about?
Say that the reason why I feel like Warzone stands out above the rest of the battle royales is because, you know, I don't know if it's every week, but every so often Warzone has like special modes. So this mode of this week is like armor vehicle squads or something. Like everybody's literally in the car.
It's like Twisted Metal.
Yes.
Hell yeah, dude. All right, that sounds fun.
And it's just funny. It sounds corny, but it just simply it's something different, you know. And that's the whole point, is that it's something different.
You got to keep it fresh, right?
Yeah.
You got to stay. You can always play the standard mode, but then every week is just like some new mode.
I agree with you.
I think my only issue with Warzone, I like the game, it's fun. I just can't justify the huge downloads. Like,
hey, I've heard that they have made an effort to reduce that size of that game recently.
It's 250 gigs right now.
Okay, yes, to both of your points, yes, they did make an effort, because this recent update was only like 22 gigabytes.
But it's still 250 gigs.
But to Montrell's point, it is a game that is 250 gigabytes. And when you think about something being 1 terabyte, that's 1/4. 25% is going to one game.
Well, the thing is, with these consoles, you don't have a true 1 terabyte drive either. Like, it's more like 900 gigs. So it's even worse.
Yeah, it's not even right. And then because when we're talking about bytes, you know, BYTES, the conversion isn't, you know, 1-to-1.
Yeah.
It's like slightly less. So yeah, but at the same time, I was thinking to myself, like, wow, should I buy a actual hard drive specifically for Call of Duty Modern Warfare? Because it's kind of crazy how big that game is.
Oh, that's crazy.
Like I
what a ridiculous thought that is.
No, I literally saw on Twitter somebody say, like, wow, like that's a new approach, you know, to competitive, like literally making it so you can't download any other game.
Just put a fucking label on it. Call of Duty Warzone.
No, but just literally making it so your game is so big that literally you don't have any room to download any other game. Literally, you just pushing your competition out.
Oh my god!
And it's so funny because somebody tweeted that. I was like, that's literally what Activision is doing.
They're such fuckers. I wouldn't put it past them.
But I'm actually not like deleting Call of Duty, so it's working. Like I would literally go on my both systems. I have Call of Duty on both systems. Just so that when I log into one system and one system's like, oh, I got to update, I'm like, okay, I can just play on the other system. But both systems I have Call of Duty on, and I'm not deleting it. So it's like when it's an update, if it's telling me I need storage, I'm gonna delete another game for Call of Duty. So
I feel like this is gonna be a mainline news story, like in mainstream games media in a few months when it's 500 gigabyte size game.
That's so funny though. It's just like literally making it so you don't have any other room to download another game. And then not to mention, what if you only had 500 gigabytes?
Right. Well, that's possible.
And 230, I'm sorry, 250 gigabytes of that is one game.
The base PS4 is 500, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my god.
And so is the base Xbox.
Wow. That is insane.
This is even crazier. So some people built their first PCs or earlier PCs like maybe a year or two ago. And remember back then, maybe like I say a year and a half ago, SSD hard drives were as cheap as they were now. So a lot of people still had a 250 hard drives, SSD
You
hard
couldn't
drive.
even play the game.
And they literally said like it was people like I can't even in the comments of like the last update. They're like I can't even play this game on PC because it's literally took up my whole SSD drive. Like
That's
250 gigs. That's fucking wild.
Yeah, I mean my NVMe drive is 500. You know, and I have a terabyte I have another terabyte SSD, but I'm sure not everybody's like that.
Exactly.
But that's why it's so funny.
It's a funny situation. It's like it's just the growing Call of Duty file size. Will it expand to the point where no one can play it?
I really think they should do something about it. I think it's going to be a huge concern. And if they don't, in the next couple of months, if it hits like 400 gigs, I think I don't even know if you can do something about that.
No, they have to okay. So the people with 256 gig like SSDs on PC, they're probably a niche group, right?
Yeah.
But when you hit, because the PS5, even the 500 gig model, I think only has like 430 gigs of available space.
Yeah.
So once you start hitting that 400 range, that's when this is going to be a true actual problem, because you are going to have large groups of people on Xbox One and PlayStation 4 that have launch versions of those consoles that will not be able to play this game because they can't download they don't have enough space. And I don't think Activision let that happen. So,
but the thing is, what about people that are? I'm assuming this is going to be backwards compatible with the newer consoles. So, who would want to put, right off the rip, 250 gigs on their new console?
Because the PS5 has an 825 gig SSD, and it's only going to have available about 700, I think, or like 675 of that space. So, yeah, you're taking over a third of your space just on Call of Duty Warzone. So that's insane.
I mean, honestly speaking, like, I want to know why is it that big? Because I'm thinking to myself, the servers be fucking buggy, and the graphics are not like all that amazing to be taken up.
They just didn't compress their files.
Well, they're either not removing old assets, code, and like textures and audio files and otherwise that they're not using anymore. And like Montrell said, they're not compressing things that can be compressed. Yeah. There's certain things you don't want to compress, like audio and probably video kind of stuff. But certain assets you can compress and it won't hurt them too much.
Yeah.
They're definitely not doing that.
They're definitely not taking the time out to cut any corners, if that makes any sense. Like, I'm pretty sure if we play Ghost of Tsushima, there are corners they cut so they can get that 50 gig size, right?
Yeah, right. That game's probably heavily compressed.
Yeah, and another thing is optimization. I'm pretty sure the reason why the game runs as good as it does on Call of Duty is because the game is that huge file size. They're not trying to optimize it; they're just letting the game flow. If that makes any sense. So, when you try to optimize it, then they probably have to make sacrifices for it. Mm-hmm. I think what they should do, if this game is going to be truly free to play, they need to separate it from the base game. I don't think Warzone itself is 250 gigs. I think it's not. Yeah, I think it's the campaign, and then they're also adding stuff to the co-op as well. So I think that's what you're paying. Your hard drive is paying for, just in case you want to buy the game. Actually, you'll still have all those files there. You can instantly unlock it and play it. That's what I think that 250 is coming from.
I mean, honestly, Warzone came out at the beginning of the pandemic, and so that's 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And so 6 months ago, when Warzone came out, Call of Duty's 100 gigabytes. And that was a lot then. Yeah. And now it's 250 gigabytes.
It's ballooned
6 months later.
Yes.
It's ballooned to 2.5 size its original size.
Yep.
Times. Oh my god! In 6 months.
Yeah.
What?
That's because they added maps. They added.
I mean, about to say, because they on season 6 now, so it's probably like they come out new season every month or something like
every month.
Okay. But they on season 6 now.
Yeah, but if you're not taking out old content that you're not using anymore, like that seems silly.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like they're just not taking out old content. So
yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, if that's the case, that means this game is going to hit critical mass in like 3 months. 3 or 4 months.
Like I'm thinking, right? Like even League of Legends or Dota, when they do an update, they actually delete their old files. Like that's why you're doing that update, because it's deleting the old files and
they're overwriting code. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, in this one, they're literally adding stuff, and it's insane how this is continued. Like I'm surprised the coder there hasn't lost their mind yet.
But yeah, it must be a mess. It must be a mess to work in that. Oh, jeez. Well, yeah, we'll. I mean, honestly, I'm kind of intrigued by this story, so we'll pay attention to it. Tiara, give us updates on that file size as you keep playing Warzone. I mean, it seems like to me, separating the two, if you don't want the base Call of Duty, like if you don't have it, that seems like a really easy short term solution to
Yeah.
I
this
mean,
problem.
it's just a simple fact that called it like Warzone is super buggy. Like it's so laggy sometimes. Like
Yeah, it's probably because the game's huge and it's trying to load things it doesn't need.
it's so laggy, and many times it's like I know for a fact I see the guy right in my crosshairs. I pull the trigger, something glitches, and I die, and it's like wow.
Yeah.
But I know I killed you, and the servers just
But I
be
know I
so
killed you.
laggy. Yeah, and no, and especially in the gulag. Oh my god, it happens in the gulag all the time. But it's just that, like, I just really feel like, to Montrell's point, why not make Warzone separate? Like, why not make Warzone separate, a separate game?
Well, I think it's a whole concerted effort to get people to buy the base game. Like that's what it is.
But now that Cold War is coming out, and apparently there's gonna be a Warzone in Cold War. But
I can imagine.
But it's so. But if you can imagine how World War II played, it's slower pace compared to the other Call of Duties because it's World War II and older weapons or whatever. Same thing with Cold War. Going back to playing with older weapons, and so it's a slower paced game.
Mm-hmm.
So people were saying that they think Modern Warfare Warzone and Modern Warfare is going to stay popular because it's like it's not. I mean, Warzone is not fast paced, but it's not slow paced either.
Yeah,
it's like so.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know, man. Like you said, we have to just see, but it's getting ridiculous. I'm surprised like no news articles or like Kotaku or anybody hasn't called them out on this. Like even like what's their names? Not digital. The people that do the comparison videos for graphics were
Digital Foundry.
Digital Foundry. I'm surprised they didn't call them out yet. Like
yeah.
I can't see them justifying the space size for the graphics and sound and shit like that.
Like if Modern Warfare was like an amazingly, stunningly, graphically beautiful game, it's like okay, I can see, right?
Yeah, but okay, like the Order 1886 is still probably one of the best looking games I've ever seen, and that game didn't anywhere near approach these sizes. Even though it's not nearly as big of a game, it's
more self-contained. So I think you can get away with it like that. So I can't say that's a fair comparison. A real comparison, in my opinion, would be like maybe Apex Legends. Like that game updates itself all the time.
Yeah, is it though? Because that game doesn't have a single player campaign, and it also is much less. I'd say the graphical fidelity is a lot lower.
Yeah, and then more so speaking, don't have no campaign, no co-op, none of that like good stuff. So
yeah,
that's why I think they should just separate it. I really
but
think they should.
That's what I'm saying. I agree. Yeah. They should just definitely just separate the game.
Yeah, because if they don't, and Montrell's idea that they want you to buy the game, because the file size is so large. If I was playing that game, I'd be likelier to delete the game than buy the game just to have access to all that content. It's like no, your game shouldn't be 300 gigabytes. Like, get out of here.
Yeah, just
like, get off my device.
Just imagine playing that game for the first time, like downloading Call of Duty the first time or whatever, and then it's like, oh, update, and the update is like 200 gigs, and you're like,
imagine people with data caps. Imagine people with data caps dealing with this game. This must be a nightmare.
Like, understand that I literally have to like schedule like Call of Duty dates ahead of time. Like my friends are like, I'm like, do you want to play? Okay, we can play tomorrow, 2 days from now, and I make sure the game is updated and everything. Because literally, it takes forever, like a half a day sometimes for Call of Duty to update.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
And it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, I remember me and her tried to play one time.
And remember? I was like, it's like, oh, update. It's
I was like, update. And then I thought it was going to take a couple minutes. Yeah, it's a couple hours. Like, it was
like, oh, see you in a couple hours. And I know for a fact when I get busy and it's like, oh, I haven't been on Call of Duty in like a month. And even though it's supposed to automatically update, it don't always automatically update. And so it's just like, I just know it's gonna be a big ass update. But recently, the update that I did was 22 gigabytes, so that wasn't bad for Call of Duty. But that's
crazy.
that's still. But look, listen to
That's
how
the size of Ghost of Tsushima.
That's what I said. It's
For
like,
a weekly update, what are we doing?
It's like oh no, it's not a weekly update. It was a season 6 update.
Okay, it was okay.
But
it was
it's like,
update.
but
Okay.
it's like. That's not that bad for Call of Duty because literally the update before that was 75 gigabytes. So I'm like,
I will say this though.
I'm like, only 22 gigabytes. Cool.
That's the main reason I stopped playing it though, because I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try to really get into this game. Maybe I can stream it and everything like that. So for like, I did try to play it consistently for 2 weeks, and I swear to God, almost every time I logged on, it was a fucking update. Maybe it was a gig, maybe it was hot fixing something. It was a goddamn update every fucking time I logged on. That was like maybe every 2 or 3 days. And I'm like, bro, this is getting ridiculous.
Montrell, do you remember PUBG? This is the one comparison I think that works with this game, is that PUBG was also notorious for these gigantic fucking updates. 30 fucking gigabytes. They were like rewriting the whole fucking game every time they do an update.
It was about 30 gigabytes itself the whole game.
No, Tiara,
seriously.
It was so bad though that we had to check the PUBG, like the sub PUBG Twitter, just to make sure that they weren't fucking shutting down the servers that day. That's how they didn't have scheduled server updates.
They did maintenance in prime time US time. Literally like 9 p.m. fucking on a Tuesday. They would do maintenance and take the entire game down. We would be like so jazzed to play, and if we didn't go look at the Twitter, we'd get online and the server's down. We're like, motherfucker, God damn it, PUBG, what are you doing? Like,
so okay, so here's my question. So since PUBG has been free, can we get on PUBG? I miss PUBG.
We don't play it anymore.
Yeah, I know,
Tiara,
but that's what I'm saying. Let's get back on PUBG.
Game, you're gonna see the worst side of us.
It's so bad. It's not.
Let's get back on PUBG.
I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I have it in me. That game hurt. That game hurt us. That game straight up hurt us. Like it was. We loved PUBG. We tried as hard as we could to love PUBG, and it never came up for it. Just never. It never reciprocated the love. Like
it was one season. It was 1 week of one season that we had the most fun. That's when they released that Kerrigan map. And
Kerrigan
64 players, and it was fast paced. And after
how many players?
64. It was 64 players on the map. But PUBG's map are fucking huge, like way bigger than Call of Duty's maps. Right?
I know.
They don't have, and it's not fast paced. So like even on Call of Duty maps where they're big, like you can get to people really fast. And this game is not that way. And PUBG is not like that. So when we were playing Kerrigan and you're playing like a slow paced game that's kind of like semi-realistic and you're just running into people constantly, it was really fucking fun. And we got really good at the game.
Oh, it was amazing. We became actually good at PUBG.
Yes, we were getting top 10, top 5 every game.
I was making sniping headshots that I had never dreamed of, like playing this game. It was nuts.
It was crazy. And we won like one night, we won like 3 or 4 games in a row, which is never heard of in PUBG. Like for us,
yeah, we would win 4 games in like 6 months. That's how bad it was, and we were dominating on this map.
And then the community fucking bitched.
Oh, they were the worst.
And that's when they introduced bots.
Yeah, no. That's when they actually took Kerrigan out the rotation. Like it had a 10% chance of like you getting the map, and they just
they had a queue when it came out. They had a queue specifically for Kerrigan.
Yeah, that's true.
And then about 2 weeks later, the community had bitched so hard that the queues in the other queue with all the rest of the maps was so like sparse. They were like, "What the fuck? We can't find games. No one's playing these maps. It's because those maps suck." Dick PUBG community. And there was this divide in the PUBG community that ruined the game because there were like people like us who wanted a little bit faster experience. And then there were these hardcore beta motherfuckers that wanted the game to take an hour and you to sit around in a bush for like 30 minutes waiting for some idiot to walk by. That's the game they wanted, you know? And so it was like they always listened to these people for some reason. And they took Kerrigan out of its own queue, put it in the rest, and we could never play the damn map anymore. Like we would get it like 1 in 10 games, like Montrell said. And it was just... It was horrible. We started playing. I remember dude, it was the funniest thing because we had played Karrakin for like a month straight or 2 weeks straight, whatever it was. And then we went back and when they made this change, we got Erangel and Miramar, which are the largest maps in PUBG. And we were like, how did we play this game for so long with these maps? I can't stand this. We're just standing around for 15 minutes doing nothing. Just standing in a spot looking around.
There was
like you're
one
not
point we were
doing
on
anything.
the highest mountain in one of the maps, and we started shooting in the air just to draw players to us because we were so bored.
Yep. And we did draw players to us, and we were just shooting at them, as they're coming up. And what do? They don't come at us. They just hid inside buildings. That's what they did. They just hid in the buildings for 10 minutes while we're shooting at them.
Are these bots?
No, these are real players.
These were real players. Now it's bots. Yeah, now it's bots.
Yeah.
But it was just the game. They ruined the game.
That's when we went to Apex. After that,
that's when we went. That is indeed when we went to Apex. When that happened, that it broke us.
Yeah.
And I've never looked back. Apex is just way better. It's way more fun to me. So, and I'm sure Warzone's similar. So, yeah, PUBG. Sad. Could have been the best battle royale.
Yeah, it could have been.
They kind of squandered it. So, okay. I've been playing 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
One is Civilization 6. So I got this game last week on Amazon for $16, and then I bought the expansion pass because it was on sale on PSN. And I started playing it with a friend of mine, and man, I've always had these periods of time where I get addicted to Civ, but Civ 6 is the best Civ has ever been, I think, right now. And I'm scared. I'm scared because I'm addicted to this game. It's bad. I want to play.
That's interesting. I heard the opposite from people.
That actually reminds me that I was playing another game. I was like, I played this game called Surviving Mars.
Yeah.
Which is like a civilization type game.
Mm-hmm.
Except, you're building stuff on Mars.
Mm-hmm. But little cities on Mars, and
it's a Paradox interactive game.
Oh, of course, yes, I know those guys. Yeah.
And they make another. Let me see what they make another series.
They make
that I like.
Europa Universalis.
Is it Crusader Kings?
Yes, I believe that. I think they make that too. Yeah, I do think they make that as well.
Yeah,
Hearts of Iron.
That's what I play by them. Crusader Kings.
They also have their own space 4X, which is called Stellaris, I think. So yeah, they're a very strategy heavy company, and
something about these like building city type games.
Mm-hmm.
Something about them that just gets addictive.
It's wild. I don't understand. I was talking to my friend about this because we're playing the game, right? And the early game gameplay, like if you watched me play it, you'd be like, "What are you even doing? You're literally hitting square. That's all you're doing is hitting square." But you know what? Like people wouldn't understand. It's just like the level of you're thinking about so much.
That's what I'm saying.
While you're pressing square.
You don't think about it, right? And it's like from the outside looking in, it's like you're just pressing square, but on the inside, you're just like,
oh my god!
Like how long is it gonna take for this building?
You're like, when this building's done, okay, I'm doing this. I need to send this guy over here.
Right.
It's insane.
I need to make sure this guy is happy. Okay.
Yep.
Why is this person's health low?
Yeah.
Like, I need more. On Mars, like refining metals, or I need more geologists. Like so it's just like from the outside looking in, it does look like why you're only pushing square.
You're not doing anything.
But it's like it's so elaborate in your head, in your mind. It's so elaborate.
It's like this tree. Like if you open my brain up, it's like this tree that's just going up and up and up into the sky.
So addictive.
Yeah, it is. It truly is.
I mean, even on the more like I guess mainstream level with the Sims, same thing. Like
right.
A simulator. These simulators, you're thinking about so much.
They get in your head, and you're like,
Like I played Surviving Mars on Saturday, and I was like, I'm just gonna play this for a couple of hours, and then next thing you know, it was like I started at like 11 in the morning, and next thing you know, I was like, wow, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, like a whole 13, 14 hours.
You didn't even eat.
I didn't even eat. No,
God.
and it's so crazy. And I was just thinking to myself, and before I even looked at the time, I was like, oh, wow, day 36.
Yeah.
That's some good progress for one day.
Yeah.
And that was like 11, 12 hours of like in real time progress.
Like, Tiara, I'm a pretty disciplined person with my sleep patterns for the most part. Like, I have a hard cutoff during the week and then on weekends, like 2 a.m. is my cutoff on weekends or days I'm not working. And Civilization is one of those games that breaks me. I stayed up till 3 a.m. twice this past weekend playing this fucking game. Like, it's just you totally lose track of time. It's the most ridiculous thing. And you're always thinking about the next thing, right? You're like, okay, I just need to get to this next building. When I finish this wonder, I'll quit. And then you're like, then you finish the fucking wonder, and then you look at the things you can build, and you're like, oh fuck, this is only gonna take 10 turns. Okay, I need to do that too. It's like, it kills me.
And those little things just add up.
Yep, and then all of a sudden you've played for 6 hours, and you've done that to yourself 10 times. It's like, and yeah.
Montrell, you don't play these games?
I can't.
I used to.
I think Montrell did it for his own health because it is bad.
I tell you, it's so
bad. It's bad.
I used to. I didn't play Civilization. I guess this is not around the same realm, but I used to spend hours. Hours playing Age of Empires. Like,
oh yeah,
hours. So,
yeah. Understood. Yeah. So okay. So to answer what you said, Montrell, some people say the opposite.
Yeah.
So this game's controversial, not because of the game. I think the game, some people don't like the mechanics in this game. They probably prefer 5. However, this game is vastly superior to Civ 5. Civ 5 is the worst Civilization game to ever be released. It is a simplistic, boring game. It is not fun. It never was. And I don't know how I played it for years because Civ 6 beats it in every way. It's got way more complexity to it. It has way more just options for you. The map types are way better. The way the game makes the maps off those map types is way better. The civilizations themselves are better. They're more complex. There's more stuff to do. The game itself has more complexity, which I prefer in my Civilization games. I think a lot of people have problems, and I'm one of these people, have issues with the way Firaxis monetizes Civilization now, where they release a base game for $60 and then they start releasing these little Civ packs where they release like one new civilization for fucking $5 or whatever, and they do like 6 of those, and then they release an expansion and then another expansion, and now there's this like battle pass, frontier pass thing that's $40. Like, there's a lot of monetization in this game, and I do have a problem with it. However, I am going to say that I have everything. My friend did buy me the frontier pass because I didn't want to pay for it. But he bought it for me because he wanted me to have it. And I will say, I think everything in this game right now, if you can get it on sale, you can't get the Frontier Pass on sale, but if you can get the base game and the expansions and all the other extra civilizations on sale for cheap, for like less than $50, 100% worth it. There's so much in this game that is justified at that price. I think paying full price for all this stuff, the game is way overpriced. You're going to be paying $150 or more potentially to get it all. But if you can get it on the cheap, absolutely worth it. And even the base game by itself is probably worth it because you can get it on Amazon right now. It's $20. Like, it's cheap. So I think it's very much worth it. I'm like Tiara was saying, it's just one of those things. Like, you start playing it and you can't stop. You can't put it down. It's like a running joke in Forex communities that the like one more turn thing. You always do that in your head. You're like, I want to do one more turn because of this. Oh, I want to do one more turn because of this. And then you get to that next turn and you're like, shit, I want to do this though too. It's like, and that's just it. It's addicting. It's really addicting. It's very rewarding gameplay because you are building it. You're building this whole civilization. And later in the game, your turns get crazy. You have like 20 cities and you're fucking, you're fighting like 3 different civilizations at the same time and wars and shit. It gets really bonkers. But early in the game, you have one city, one warrior, and that's it. You move the warrior and you end your turn. That's the game, like in the beginning of the game. But that beginning of the game is so vital to the later game. Like, the way you start really determines the way you finish. Because if you get off to a good start, you will just roll and roll and roll and roll. And that's what's addicting about it, is once you start getting momentum, the game becomes really rewarding. And it's hard to put it down as a result. And most of these games are like this. Like Paradox are fucking masters of this, with Europa Universalis and Hearts of Iron and what's it called?
Like I said, I played
Surviving Mars.
Surviving Mars, and then I played Crusader Kings from them too. They
Right.
just released Crusader Kings 3 too.
Yep.
But it's just really, I mean, it's just really, it's like you said, it's the little games. Like, it only takes like this amount of time to do this. Okay, I can do this right quick before I turn this game on. And it's like, when this unlocks, I can just do this. And it's just like the little rewards, the little releases of dopamine in your brain. And it's just that, like, it proves, I would be telling my kids that, like, when you have a lot to do, you organize things about, like, what's going to take the least amount of time to do. It's the little rewards that count. Oh, you do this task. Okay, you do this task. Okay. Like, when you do tasks that are too long and it takes up so much time, it's not as rewarding, but it's the same thing. So it proves that works, because that's what you just do, little tasks, and then I really hate games that are like that use in real life time. Like 2 hours be like real 2 hours.
Mobile games do that a lot. Yeah,
I hate that. I was like, come on, man. Like,
I want to play. I don't want to wait.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Clash of Clans is like obviously one of the first ones that did that, and I did play that game for a while, and it's like, man, I get it. I get the monetization model, but it's like, this isn't how you get me addicted to a game. Not letting me play it. It's weird. So yeah, Civ 6, very fun. If you can get it on sale, highly worth it, I'd say. I think it's a vast improvement over Civ 5 at this point. So and I've also been playing one other game. This one is very popular out there right now. It is called Genshin Impact. This is
I heard of that.
Yeah, so I started playing it last week, and I haven't put a ton of time into it, about 10 hours, but I have very robust opinions about this game already. Because let me describe this game to you, right?
Good robust, bad robust.
Closer to good than bad, I'd say, but there is bad. It's mixed for sure. So let me describe this game. So take Breath of the Wild's kind of exploration style, where you can climb on anything, right? Combined with gliding abilities, and then you combine that with like a Japanese action RPG that's fully open world, and then you put a gacha around it, and that's your video game. That's Genshin Impact in a nutshell. It is the weirdest concoction I've ever fucking seen, but it's strange because it's a good ass game. Like, it's a good game. Genshin Impact on its own, taken as it is, without the gacha, take the gacha out, it is a good video game. Like, it's fun to play. It feels good to play. Progression is fun in the game. It actually is fairly deep game too, which is not the case for a lot of these gacha games. Some of them are not that deep, but there are a lot of them though that are ridiculously deep. So there are plenty of those too. But the thing is that this game is a console game that is free to play. That's a gacha. And that's what's so weird about this, is that these games usually are on mobile, which this game is on mobile, but it's primarily, it plays like a console game. Like, it plays like an open world Tales game, honestly. That's kind of what it feels like. It doesn't have the battles like Tales, but you just fight out in the open.
Yeah.
And the game's like, it's got a lot of content right now. So basically this is how it starts. You get one character, and then you play the game for a while, and they give you another free character, and then you get a couple other free characters as you're playing. That fills out your party of 4, right? You can have a party of 4 out at any time, and you can switch between the characters on the fly, in combat. And this is where the game's deep, is that every character has an element assigned to them, and there's 7 elements. And these elements interact with each other in combat. So say you use a water character to like make a character get the wet status or whatever, and then you pull out an electric character and shoot an electric attack at them, they'll take extra damage because they're wet, so things like that. And there are tons of interactions like that between
that sounds like Pokemon.
Sort of. Yes. I'd say
that's literally what happens in Pokemon.
I'd say a little deeper than Pokemon. But yes, similar idea. So there's that. But then you get to the point in the game where you hit adventure rank 7, and adventure rank is like your account level. Basically, it's separate from your character's levels. Your characters all level separately. And then you unlock this thing called the wish. It's called wishes. You wish for characters or whatever, and they give you this currency, right? This is the gotcha element of the game. And basically, you spend this currency and you roll for characters, and the rates for characters are terrible. So there's 3-star weapons, and then there's 4-star weapons, 5-star weapons, 4-star characters, and 5-star characters. 3-star weapons or whatever, they're the trash of the gotcha, right? What you really want are the 5-star weapons and characters. 4-star characters are kind of the default thing that you get, but you get the drop rates for this in this game are some of the worst I've ever seen in a gacha game, where the 5-star drop rates for characters and weapons is 0.6% per roll. 0.6%. That is less than 1 in 100, where you'll get one of these.
Yeah, that reminds me. I also played Fallout Shelter for the first time in 2 years.
Yeah.
Trying to get the rest of the achievements, and it's like I gotta get the legendary characters. But to get those, I gotta open up the lunch boxes, and the drop rates for like a legendary characters are ridiculous.
Yeah, so that sounds similar. That is a very popular mobile mechanic. And then for 4-star characters, the drop rate I think is like 4.3% or something. So you have a 5% chance on any given drop to get something decent to good, or great even. The thing is that the currency in this game, they give you a lot now because you started an account and the game just came out and everything's great. But if you take it as its base, eventually you're going to get to a point where you don't get any currency for free, or you get very little for free. You're going to get some amount per day or whatever. So basically, this is how it works. 10 pulls cost 1,600 of the game's currency. And in the in-game shop, you can buy a $100 pack of currency that gives you 6,480 gems, which is equivalent to the currency you use to pull. So that means you can get 40 pulls per $100. 40 pulls at a 0.6% rate to get a 5-star. As I said, that's less than 1 in 100. So you aren't even getting a chance. You're very likely to not even get a 5-star for $100. Now, there's also a mechanic in this game. If you don't get a 5-star for 90 straight pulls, you get one automatically. It's called a pity timer or whatever. So basically, the game's rate's so bad that the assumption is that most of the time you're not going to get a 5-star until you hit 90. So doing the math, you would have to spend $225 get that, to hit that pity timer. Now, the funny part about this is, so there's rate up banners that give you an increased rate to get a certain character, right? And there's usually only 1 5-star. Right now, there's only 1 5-star on this banner, and you have a 50% chance higher to get the character, the 5-star character, right now on the banner. So there's a 50-50 chance, even at 90, you're not going to get the character on the banner. Now, there's another pity timer after that, another 90 pulls. You're guaranteed the banner character at that point. So you need to spend $450 to guarantee the banner character in this game. It is insanely bad from that perspective. The only reason this is acceptable is because right now you don't need these characters to beat anything. The game is fully beatable with free-to-play characters, even 4-stars. A lot of the 4-stars are really, really good. They're very close to the 5-stars in power. So that's why the game it's kind of acceptable. However, these games are hard to trust because it comes down to what this is going to come down to is if this system can work in the long term is power creep. If the developers power creep the game to the point where you need 5-star characters, this is going to be a big problem for this game going forward. So they're going to lose a lot of free-to-play players that way. Now, there is a rumor going around that the update coming out next week for this game is going to drastically change the gacha to lower everything and make it a lot easier to attain 5-stars. So I'm hoping that's true, because if it is, I'll actually stick on this game a lot longer if that's the case. But as it stands right now, these games are really insidious, and this is how they do it. They make the rates really low. They make it so that you feel they give you a guarantee that feels attainable. So then you spend money to hit that, like say you have enough pulls for free currency, which is possible right now, to do 50 pulls on your own, right? You don't get the 5-star. Okay. So you spend $100 to do the last 40. It's like, and you're going to get a 5-star character, but it's like, you just spent $100, but that's the psychology of these games. So I know a lot of people listen to this play fucking DBZ Dokkan Battle. I know you do. I know you're listening right now, and I know you play it. These games, they're trash. Okay, I hate them. It sucks that I like Genshin Impact as much as I do because it's a gotcha. I hate these games, and
What
I,
though? By you say it's a gotcha.
yeah, say that again.
I said, what does that mean though when you say it's a gotcha?
So that everything that I just described, the pulling of characters and the low drop rates, that's what a gotcha is. It's
Oh,
basically
okay.
like a capsule machine game where you put in currency and you get something in return, whether it's a character, an item, or something like that. And there's random chances to get better characters. And the better characters obviously have much lower chances than the worse characters. So that's what a gotcha is. There's plenty
Okay.
of these. There's Fire Emblem Heroes, Fate Grand Order, DBZ Dokkan Battles 1. Most of them are on mobile. Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. I mean, there's countless of them. There's probably hundreds of them out there that all have their audiences. So I don't like these games. Unfortunately, a lot of them are actually really good games. That's what's so upsetting about them is that they're good games. It's just they're wrapped in this like monetization model that's so psychologically insidious. And I have a weakness for this stuff too. It's like that dopamine hit you were talking about. You get the
Mm.
same thing from these games. And when you actually get that 5-star that you wanted, it feels exhilarating. The thing is, that's what they're preying on because the chances of getting that 5-star you want is extremely low. So they want you to spend money to chase that. And that's the whole game. So, however, like I was saying, Genshin Impact is a good game. I think it's worth playing. You don't have to spend money on it. So if you can resist that, I think it's worth checking out. Montrell, I do think you would like this game quite a bit.
I downloaded the mobile version of it, and I saw the potential of it. I did see everyone talking about it on Twitter, but that's Twitter because they like gotcha games for some reason. So
yes,
I knew it was a gotcha game, so that kind of turned me off of it. But I did see some combat of it as well, and it has the same combat as Nier Automata. So
yeah, it's not as clean as Nier. It's a little bit more stiff and isn't as precise, I'd say, but it doesn't matter because it's an action RPG, whereas Nier was more of a straight action game.
So you can have 4 characters out at a time.
No, you control one and you can switch between the other 3 at any time.
Okay.
On the fly. There's like a 1-second cooldown when you switch characters. So yeah. Genshin Impact. I'll have more to say about this game as I play it more. If they do change the gacha, I'll let you guys know.
All right.
Next week or the week after. But I am considering kind of doing a solo deep dive on this game potentially if I play it long enough. So we'll see about that. So okay, let us move on into the news. 47 minutes into the show. We don't have a lot to talk about this week though, so it's good we did talk about the games we're playing so long. So first story we got is Nintendo announced, and I think this is out now. I think you can buy this or at least pre-order it. Is they announced something called Mario Kart Live Home Circuit, which is okay. I need to explain this. So basically, it's similar to like Nintendo Labo. Do you guys remember that? That like cardboard that Nintendo was selling where you could do fun stuff with it. You could fish with cardboard or whatever.
Oh yeah.
So basically you spend $100 and you get this physical box, right? And it comes with a Mario Kart like RC car, and then it comes with these 4 plastic gates, and then these like 4 sets of cardboard arrows signs or whatever. And basically, you can make your own tracks in your house with these gates and arrows, and then you can build a track in the game. And then you put the RC car down, you pair it with your Switch system, and you download the game. You can download the game for free on eShop. You pair it with your Switch, and then you control the cart with your Switch, and you drive it around your house basically. And your house is the course, whatever you made. But yeah, it's $100, and I don't think it's worth it, but it does sound fun if you have children. I'm sure this would be very, very fun to play with kids. But would this be something you guys are interested in on your Nintendo Switch?
Nope. Next.
Oh my god. Tiara, what about you? I mean, this is similar to like VR issues. You need space for this, so
Yeah, I don't foresee me, caring about this, honestly.
that's fair. I only brought it up because it came into my email box. I was like, "What is this?" And I started looking at it. And I'm like, "It looks kind of cool," but I'm like, $100? Like, why does Nintendo do this with stuff? You know, this must work, but like, who would spend $100 on this? You know, that's what drives me kind of nuts with them sometimes. So I don't know. If you guys are interested in what I just described, $100, you can get it at Best Buy, I think Target, Walmart, you know, whatever, what have you.
I do have a side story, like since we're on the Switch.
Yeah, sure.
It's just like a little tidbit I thought was funny. So someone did have a class action suit against Nintendo for the drift, and Nintendo said that the drift on the Joy-Cons are a myth.
Yeah. Oh yeah, in the in their court case, right? Yeah. They have some nerve. That's all I'm gonna say. They have some nerve because I think most people that own a Switch at this point have probably experienced some amount of drift, and I think Nintendo they will do whatever they can. Their law department. I just gotta say, their law department is one of the skeeviest, scummiest group of people on the planet. I don't understand why they are the way they are. They go after fan made games. They go after fan parties. They go after whatever the hell. And then they do shit like this. They just lie, straight up lie. Joy-Con drift is a fabrication. Then why are thousands of people on the internet saying it's a thing? Are we all liars? We're all making this up.
Yep, we are.
The fuck, dude. Nintendo, they just say things that make me mad sometimes. I mean, Tiara, have you ever had drift on your Switch, or have you been blessed?
What do you mean by drift?
Like, where you're so either one of your sticks is broken to a degree, and it kind of moves on its own without you touching it. Like your camera will move on its own, or your character will move on its own.
No.
Well, you're one of the lucky ones because this happened on my prior Switch before I sold it. It started.
I would
to do
say
this
no.
for me.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
It was happening in Zelda.
My Switch is kind of. I feel like my Switch is kind of new too.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and it can happen at any point. I got lucky; it took about 2.5 years for it to start happening to me. But the reports of it have been kind of all over the place with it. So
is it a Joy-Con issue?
Yes.
Or is it a Switch? Oh, it's a Joy-Con. So you just got switch
some people have changed out their sticks and it fixed it. Like they fixed it themselves. They like repaired it. There's a part on the controller, and this is true of the Pro controller too. Actually, the part they use underneath the analog sticks rubs off. Like they use the material that rubs off over time, and that's why the drift happens because the controller is not able to properly detect that material anymore, and then it kind of does its own thing sometimes. So yeah, so. Like we said, we're still monitoring that court case because I do want to know what happens there. But the fact that they're trying to argue that there's no drift doesn't exist. I mean, come on, guys. They just don't want to have to pay out. They don't want to have to pay out to everyone who bought a Switch that was affected by this. They don't want to have to pay us all $50 or whatever it's going to cost. You know. So, yeah, I'm sure they'll keep trying. All right, let's move on. Ghost of Tsushima Legends. We talked about this a couple months ago when it was announced. It has gotten a release date. It is also coming with a new Game Plus mode on October 16th. That is a week from when this podcast will go live. So I know we talked about this. We were all kind of interested in it, the co-op game multiplayer experience. How are you guys feeling right now? Do you still want to play this?
Yes, I saw some of it, and the little gameplay snippets they did show. So it looks like some of us are going to have like actual supernatural powers, which looks really cool. And they have certain classes. There's a dual wielding class I saw. So,
yeah, assassin. Yeah.
So I want all three of us to play it. I think we'll be a good team. So
I'm down for us to play games forever, and nobody wanted to do it.
Well, this might be.
I asked you all to play Among Us. I asked you all to play Warzone. Nobody wants to ever play anything
You got to pick the right game, TR.
Next time I played Among Us this weekend, so I'll hit you up, TR, next time I play it. I did play it with some of my friends this weekend.
Yeah, this looks pretty fun. And then the new game plus, it looks like you're going to keep all your techniques, gear, and vanity items obtained in a previous playthrough. Difficulty will be increased to provide a new challenge. But you can still adjust it down if you want. So if you were playing on lethal, apparently you can make the game even harder. So hell yeah. So yeah, that's coming on the 16th. Look forward to that. All right, let's move on. We got a couple more here. So Need for Speed Hot Pursuit was a 2010 game made by Criterion. And there was some rumors flying around the last couple days that it was getting a remaster, and it got announced that is true yesterday. So it is coming out on November 6th on PlayStation 4, PC, and Xbox One, and then November 13th on Nintendo Switch. Did either of you play this game when it originally came out?
Yeah, I did. So it's getting re-released?
Yep. Did you like it?
Yeah,
I liked it. Was this a good Need for Speed?
Yeah. It was okay. It was a decent one. This was Hot Pursuit?
Yeah, Hot Pursuit.
Yeah, I like this one, yeah.
I might need to check this out.
I think this was the last good one before they started getting bad.
It started going downhill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, what about you, TR? You ever play a Need for Speed game?
Not a lot of them.
Fair enough. Yeah, the last one I played was like, I don't know, Pro Street or something in like 2008. And that one was not very good. So yeah, I don't know. I might check this out though. Need for Speed seems to be making a bit of a resurgence recently. So hopefully they do right by this remaster, because that seems to be difficult in this day and age sometimes. So it's going to be $39.99 too. So not too expensive if you want to jump into it. And then our final story of the week is World of Warcraft Shadowlands was supposed to be coming out on October 27th, and Blizzard released a statement this past week saying that the game has been delayed. At the moment, they haven't given a date, but they said they want to get it out before the end of 2020. I bring this up because I was actually thinking about jumping into this game. So I'm a little disappointed, but at the same time, maybe gives me some space to clear out my backlog a little more and actually jump into this game. Maybe. So, I might be checking this out. Montrell, I know you've played WoW. You played a little bit with me in Classic. Were you thinking about jumping into Shadowlands or no?
I was actually going to wait for your consensus on it before I jump into it. I do want to get from the gameplay that I did see. They improved a lot of animations and everything of that nature, and the current WoW looks like what I want Classic WoW. So what I wanted Classic WoW to be is like, I wanted some of the updated animations and stuff, but I wanted the classic feel, and I think that's what Shadowlands is going to provide. But I still want to get a consensus from everyone else who plays it. But from the research I did do on the beta for Shadowlands, there were a lot of stuff that was just missing. They're like skyboxes rather had like holes in them and everything like that, and it just wasn't polished, and the end game wasn't really as polished as much as the player base wanted to be. So I'm actually glad they kind of delayed it. A lot of people are glad it delayed it. I thought it may have something to do with like all their execs or their like seniors leaving, but I don't think that has anything to do with it, to be honest with you.
No, it's probably just a polish thing. I would imagine that's usually why Blizzard delays games. Even this current day, Blizzard still does that. So, this is a big update to World of Warcraft. They are doing a level squish, which I think is actually happening soon in the pre-patch for Shadowlands when it comes out. But the level squish is going to bring the level cap from, I think, 120, what it is now, to down to 60. Which was the original version of the game's cap, which is funny. And they are creating an entirely new leveling experience, I think, that will take you from 1 to 60. So, so this is a big deal. And this is kind of why I wanted to check the game out and really see everything they're doing with it, because they're also doing a stat squish with that level squish. So the game's going to be different. It's going to be very different from what it is now. Now, what I don't know, and I don't remember, I vaguely remember reading that the old content will still be accessible and you'll be able to play it as your leveling experience if you want. So I think it'll still be there. They're not doing what Destiny 2 is doing, where they're just taking a shitload of content out of the game. So which to me I think is not a bad move. It would be kind of disappointing if all that content was just gone. There's a lot of history in World of Warcraft, and I don't know, it's a little bit more iconic than something like Destiny 2's content. So yeah, I'm kind of glad, hopefully, that I'm right. If I am, that they're doing that. So yeah, that's all we got for news, guys. We are at an hour clean. Do you guys have anything else you want to bring up, or do we want to let you guys go and watch the NBA finals?
Yes, I have something that I just discovered.
Okay.
Apparently, a judge ruled that Subway's bread is too sugary to be considered real bread.
Was this Ireland, an Irish judge or something like that? It was in another country, wasn't it?
I don't know, but that's funny to me because Subway is supposed to be a place considered to be like healthy.
Oh my god! It said it was 20% of the weight is sugar. That's what they came down to.
But I mean that makes sense because carbohydrates are sugars.
Right. Yeah.
And bread is carbs. So
Mhm.
I just thought it was funny. I made that discovery.
Mm-hmm. It is funny. I don't really like Subway, so.
I get two things from Subway, either a cheesesteak or a tuna sub.
Okay.
And I've gotten that for years.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't deviate from that particular order.
There's probably no reason to. I feel like if you find something you like at Subway, the chances of you finding something else you like at Subway aren't high. So, stick with it. Yeah, no, that was a funny story. I thought that was that gave me a chuckle for sure. But yeah, anything else?
No, that's all I got for right now. Unfortunately, the news has been taken up by current events of our political system, so I think that's overshadowing a lot of video games. A lot of people aren't really worried about video games right now, unfortunately.
Well, we're in the calm before the storm of the console releases too, so I just don't think we're gonna get a lot of news.
Can't believe that I can't believe that I didn't get to pre-order it.
You didn't? You never got one? You haven't got one? I mean,
nope.
I've been seeing people say they have gotten throughout the the weeks that they begin emails and they jump on them and they get them.
They're still putting stock in. Xbox is. I haven't seen PlayStation 4 since the first week and a half or so. But yeah, Xboxes I think are still going in and out of stock. So if you really want one, I think you might be able to get one still. But you're gonna have to do some F5ing on Microsoft's store page or something if you really want that. So if I see one though, if I see something come available, I'll text you. How about that?
Okay.
I do follow some people on Twitter that do these stock alerts or whatever for stuff. So that's kind of what you have to do at this point. So all right. That's gonna be it for us, guys. If you like this episode, please like the episode, review the show, and subscribe to the show on whatever feed you're listening to it on. And if you could, please share it with your friends. If you'd like to talk to any of us on Twitter, you can do so at iTrap for the Hokage for Montrell. That is the number 4, not the word. I am at ThunderNut01. Tiara is at Victorian Jedi. The show is at The Player's Take. And if you'd like to send us a question, you can do so on Twitter, or you can send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. Otherwise, that is going to be it for us, guys. We hope you enjoyed this one, and we will see you on the next one. All right, bye.